begin to understand the fact when the president tells you that he doesn't mind a revoke, that he's not going to change his position on full subsidy. I'll tell you why it will come out like that. The 2012 budget is 4.749 trillion naira. Our budget deficit, based on last year's statistics of GDP by the National Bureau of Statistics, our budget, which is 33 trillion naira GDP, our budget deficit is now 2.77%. Now, if you add any amount of money, say 500 billion for subsidy, we are going to cross the 3% mark, the cap for budget deficit set in 2007 by the Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2007. So essentially, the budget cannot, we borrowed about 1.3 trillion naira from borrowings, from loans, from grants. So the budget cannot actually expand beyond that, because now you're looking at the fact that if you bring in more money, it goes beyond, they break a law. So what do? They come out and say that there is no provision for full subsidy. But do you know that even the Shore project have no provisions? There is no money for Shore project. The capital expenditure is 1.3 trillion naira. Out of 1.3 trillion naira, about 1 trillion is already borrowed. About 300 billion is going to come from the federal revenues. Now, Shore, if you were going to say that you want to use the money from full subsidy to do Shore revenues, full subsidy reinvestment, whatever they call it, their thing, sure. That thing is not sure. It's false, because there is actually no money from anywhere that Shore is going to depend on. That's why I'm beginning to believe those people that said that the 1,600 buses that were launched, that some people said it's not even up to that the buses were not bought. It's easy to believe them, because essentially Shore has no money. Shore cannot find money from anywhere, except if having set a benchmark of $70 per barrel for the budget and 2.45 million for production, for oil production per barrel every day, except if all prices increase beyond that amount, or we produce beyond that amount, or there's a slide between the naira and dollar. No money.
And there's no chance of all of those things happening at the same time.
I mean, those things are not going to happen at the same time. They are very big ifs. Except in a condition like that, there's no money for sure. So essentially, from the word go, the presidency, the government is lying. If you could come out and explain these positions to Nigerians, they would understand that, oh, actually we are in a tight position. Then they begin to advise you and say, for instance, why would you budget 17 billion naira for newspapers among 50 ministries? Why would you budget 2 million naira per day for the travels of the president and his vice within Nigeria every single day? They begin to ask you, why would you budget 3 million naira every day for international travel? They begin to ask you, why would you budget 1 billion naira for the president's feeding? They begin to ask you, why would you budget as a line item in the budget 600 million naira for the president and his vice as a welfare? Then by the time you look at this, when you look at all the 51 ministries and agencies and all the things that are not supposed to be in the budget, Nigeria is going to realize some 160 billion naira of waste. 160 billion naira is just as much as the amount of money budgeted to the power sector. These are monies that could be realized, transferred into capital projects. And when we come out like this openly, if I tell you I'm sick and I can prove to you I'm sick, it will be difficult for you to try to force me the things I cannot do if I'm sick.
Okay, hold on a minute. They said that every journey begins with a step. Better late than never. That's another problem. I mean, as late as it may be, President Johnson did come out over the weekend and did acknowledge that he has acknowledged himself there is a fair degree of wastage. Came out to slash executive salaries by 25%, talked about how he's going to cut overseas trips and all that. I mean, obviously, he can't do everything in one fell swoop. Shouldn't we give him some credit for taking that, bold step, even though for many it's belated?
I don't even know about whether it's belated or not. For me, my issue with what he came out to say is, if you're telling me you're making a sacrifice, at least make the sacrifice. He said 25% of salaries. Anybody who has a job knows that basic salaries is just a tiny bit of the entire thing. We know that only 9% of these people's salaries is actually basic. Their basic salary makes up 9% of what they take home at the end of the day. So if you take away 25% of that, in the full picture, you're saying you're taking only less than 2.5% of the total amount. If the president was taking actually a quarter of his full pay, away, I would be moved. But 2.5% is nothing. And it just goes to show that somebody honestly doesn't believe that people like me, people like people on the streets are important enough. They obviously are not taking us seriously. But for him to even come out and do that, as far as I'm concerned, then our cry is being heard at some point. And I am here to say, let's continue shouting.
And where would you like to see it go from then?
I want him to come out and dialogue. I want him to sit down at a table and say, okay, before we make you pinch yourselves a little further, I'm going to pinch myself a bit. It's on the internet. David Cameron of the United Kingdom reduced his convoy to 2 cars and 1 outrider. Let my president do the same thing. You know, Barack Obama, the president of a country whose economy is worth $1.3 trillion US, earns $400,000 per annum. My country, our economy is worth $0.3 trillion. And the Senate president of my country takes from 600 million naira per annum. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. So this is what I'm saying. If you're going to make me sacrifice, you sacrifice as well. It's very simple. There's no reasonable person you would bring an arrangement like that to who wouldn't listen to you and sit down with you. It's quite simple. Life is about give and take. Let's create a balance. Let's stop doing you're on this side and you're on this side, because he said he had no shoes at a point, meaning he was just like every other Nigerian at a point. What has happened between now and then to make him forget how it feels to wake up in the morning and not have any food to eat? A lot of the people out on the streets today have no plan for their immediate future. Talk less of the long term. There are lots of Nigerians that we're giving birth to children every day who have no future. What sort of country is this? All I'm saying to Mr. President is, if you were my daddy, I would be telling you the same thing. Stand up for us. This removal is a good idea in an ideal situation. Create that ideal situation before you bring the theory in. I don't see the theory, I don't know the calculation. All I know is I see people who are hungry. And the truth of the matter is, I have a job, I'm a graduate. But when there's a hungry man on the road who sees me driving out in my broken down car every day, he's going to see me as his enemy because he thinks I have some money. We're going to get to a situation where people are going to start eating one another very soon if the president doesn't budge. He cannot say he's putting his foot back down and he's not changing his mind. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, Jeffrey, where do you stand on the issue of security, since you seem to be the man on the budget? The amount voted for security with all its security challenges, was it too much to little or just right?
If I tell you I'm budgeting 100 million for 5 cars, I can give you the 5 cars, and you find it difficult to ask me. The worst you do is, how can this car be 5 for 100 million? But you see the car. But by the time I'm budgeting 1.3 trillion for security, you're not going to ask me where is the security, because security is a subjective thing, it's intangible. That's why we begin to. I don't want us to go to the area of Boko Haram, but Boko Haram is just an excuse for somebody to budget as much as 3 billion naira per day on security. But for me, I'm particular about the distrust and the trust issues of this government. For instance, between January 2007 and June of 2010, we spent about the same amount of money that the government is saying we spent on subsidy. In fact, in 2007, we spent 300 billion naira for all forms of subsidy, petrol, kerosene, all the forms of to import them, 300 billion naira. Then I noticed that the 1.4 to 1.6 trillion they said about the previous subsidy, in fact that the months before and after the election, the amount increased by as much as 6 times. 6 times. People in fool would know that these guys are lying. And if you're lying to me, whether you're my wife or my father or my brother or my government, you don't expect me to trust you when you say, give me some money, I want to help you. Because I'm going to ask you, with the government for instance, you spend 200 billion naira. What have you done with it? You've been borrowing 1 billion naira every month. What have you done with it? How can I trust you? You feed on 3 million naira of my money every day. Between January 1st and today, based on the budget, the president has spent on 33 million naira. What is he eating? These are things we're looking at. And look, the anger on the streets is just natural. When you pour water on the ground, it gets wet. If you punch me, there's an effect. Life is about force and effect. The anger on the street is natural because the things the government does not want people to know, the people are knowing. I understand that the president said some of these problems are coming from Twitter and Facebook. It's a beautiful thing because we are exposing and making people see information. As soon as I leave this place, I'm going to push out some documents and figures with respect to the budget. They've taken the 2012 budget off the internet. Why do they do that? Because they are saying that they have totally been exposed. And we need these exposures. We need to come and look. First of all, going forward, we need to go back to pre-January 1st prices, one, then we now go back to the table and actually bring out the truth and discuss it.
Well, then I have to tell you, we're also going to go back